Now, I could spend 90 minutes talking about what we've done, or I could spend some time talking about what we're about to do. Phase 4 of the MCU.
Hey everyone, this is George, and I'm back with a new video. So San Diego Comic-Con has concluded for this year, and as always, there's a ton of newsworthy things to discuss. I'm really excited for the Picard series, The Witcher, Terminator Dark Fate, and It Chapter 2, but I don't think anything this year came close to the level of awesomeness we got from the Marvel Studios panel. So here's my countdown video based on my level of excitement for the Marvel announcements from the Marvel Studios panel. So number 10 on my list is Eternals. I've actually never been a big fan of the Eternals. I never really got the story. I didn't really read those comics, but I'm really excited because Kevin Feige seems to have a lot of excitement for it. So maybe he has like a pretty big grand plan for it that could make it really awesome. And I'm also definitely excited by the incredibly talented cast they've assembled for that movie. And I'm definitely looking forward to how this group of characters impact the MCU as a whole. I also love that they casted Salma Hayek. She's always been one of my favorite leading ladies, and I'm really glad she's joining the MCU. Number 9 on my list is Blade. The news that Mahershala Ali would be the new Blade was actually pretty huge news. I'm a huge fan of the Wesley Snipes Blade, but I figured they probably weren't going to use Wesley Snipes in that capacity just because the MCU's always been about kind of forging their own new direction, so I didn't think that they were going to use Wesley Snipes again, even though I would have loved if they did. But I think Mahershala Ali is a really good casting choice, so I'm pretty happy about that. I think one of the reasons this didn't rank higher on my list is because I'm honestly not sure how Blade fits into the MCU. I know in the comics they've gradually been pushing him into more stuff with the Avengers, the X-Men, but up until this point in the MCU, we've only done some level of mysticism and not full-on horror, which Blade the Vampire Hunter is known for. So I'm definitely intrigued to see where Kevin Feige and the MCU goes with Blade. Number 8 on my list is Doctor Strange 2. And speaking of mysticism, probably the news that has the most awesome title on this list is the announcement of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I was pretty happy to hear that Doctor Strange would be getting a second film. I honestly feel like we've only scratched the surface with the stories that have been told with him, and hopefully we get to know more. I'd also really like to see Rachel McAdams' character return, as well as Chiwetel Ejiofor's Mordo and Benedict Wong's character Master Wong. And who knows, it would be really cool if Tilda Swinton's Ancient One even made a return, just like we saw in Avengers Endgame. And I think it's also been rumored, or maybe even confirmed, that Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch is supposed to co-star in this movie. So I think Doctor Strange 2 has a lot of promise, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about that film. Number 7 on my list is Hawkeye. So I love Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, and even though I would have preferred that he get his own movie or maybe a movie with Black Widow, I'm also on board for a Disney Plus series. I think this could be really good too. When I first saw the logo, I really thought that font signified something, and it looks exactly like the font from the comic book series by Matt Fraction, and I really like that series a lot. I think it's a fantastic story, and I really hope if they are adapting that, which it seems like they are, that they do a good job with it because it's a really good run. And the only other thing, probably the most important thing, is that I can't wait to see Pizza Dog. Please include Pizza Dog. Kevin Feige, if you're listening, we need Pizza Dog. Number 6 on my list is the Disney Plus series What If. So I've been a comic book fan for a very long time, and one of my favorite comic book series since I was a kid was the What If series. And for those who don't know what this is, well, What If was a series that posed that very question. It basically asks what if something happened, and it would do this for like major Marvel events, usually really serious events that kind of changed the Marvel Universe history. But it also did it for like fun stuff. Like there was a lot of fun stories and not so serious stories too. So some of the very popular what if stories were what if Wolverine had killed the Hulk, what if Spider-Man kept the black costume, and you guessed it, what if Jane Foster became Thor? That was one of them. And there were so many other great stories. I love the What If series. It actually doesn't bother me that this is going to be an animated series. I think they have a better chance of bringing in new and different characters by making it an animated series. And I'm really happy that they said the original cast is on board for returning to voice their characters. So What If is definitely something I am truly hyped up for. Number 5 on my list is Loki. Nothing made me happier than seeing the comical way that Tom Hiddleston's Loki escaped his fate in the events of Avengers Endgame. It was just such a satisfying moment, and I was really happy that they managed to bring Loki back. And when I learned that they were giving him his own ongoing Disney Plus series, it was just something I was so excited for, and I still am really excited for, because I want more stories with this character. He's such an awesome character, and I do hope that he eventually crosses paths with Thor. That would be really awesome. So I was really happy that Marvel granted my wish and brought him back. My only small gripe is that this version of Loki is still evil. I think Kevin Feige mentioned that. And I had really come to love the hero version of Loki. But regardless of that, it should be a lot of fun, and who knows, maybe he'll still find his way back to the hero's path. Number 4 on my list is Black Widow. I was actually pretty surprised how excited I am for this one. Sure, this one's actually set in the past, and it's probably not going to have much impact on the MCU going forward, but I still love Black Widow, especially after the events of Avengers Endgame. My wife's also a huge Black Widow fan too. I actually feel like this movie's long overdue, but honestly, I would have preferred that Jeremy Renner would co-star and we would actually get that Budapest story that they're always talking about. That would have been my first choice, but this is still something I'm very excited for. And I think they've really assembled a great cast for this one. I love David Harbour and Rachel Weisz, and I'm glad they're joining the MCU. And I'm really curious to learn more about the MCU's version of Taskmaster. I think he's been confirmed to be the villain for this movie. I think there's even some promotional art of him. And he's making his MCU debut in this film. So there is a lot going for the Black Widow movie, and I just can't wait to see it. Number 3 on my list is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I love Anthony Mackie's Falcon, and I love Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier, and after the events of Avengers Endgame, it's pretty clear that these two are going to be stepping up in a big way in the future of the MCU. And so while I would have loved for Falcon and Winter Soldier to be a feature film, I'm still pretty excited for the Disney Plus series. For me, it was a lot of fun seeing these two become really good frenemies in Captain America Civil War. They had a lot of really great banter, and I liked it a lot. And so I'm really excited to see these two really interact more. And I'm pretty happy that this series is going to explore those characters past the events of Avengers Endgame, which had kind of a huge bombshell of what it means going forward, especially for Anthony Mackie's Falcons. I think this series is definitely going to be one that pushes the MCU forward. I think I saw that Daniel Bruhl's character Baron Zemo from the Civil War film will also be returning, so there's a lot of really good things, and I'm definitely keeping my eyes on it. Number 2 on my list is Thor 4. Oh Thor, how you bring me such joy. So Thor has always been awesome. In the comics he's awesome, and in the movies he's awesome, but something kind of changed in Thor Ragnarok and through Avengers Endgame, and it actually made me love the character even more. I think what really changed that really made me love the character even more is that he was humanized, he became even more of a goofball, and he just became kind of relatable. And it's weird saying a godlike being can become relatable, but he actually did. And after the events of Avengers Endgame, I'm actually even more excited to follow in his adventures. So Thor Love and Thunder, or Thor 4, was such a huge announcement for me, and I'm really happy that the director Taika Waititi is returning. I think him and Chris Hemsworth made one of the best MCU movies to date with Thor Ragnarok, and I'm just such a fan of those two, and I'm really happy they're returning. And I'm also pretty excited to see Jane take up the mantle of Thor. I read a lot of the Jason Aaron, Russell Dodderman Mighty Thor run, and I thought it was a fantastic story, and I hope they take a lot of what they did in that story and bring it to the big screen. I love Natalie Portman, and I just can't wait to see what she does in the story. And number 1 on my list is the Fantastic Four. This was the announcement I was most excited for, and it was just such a huge win to hear.
I didn't even have time to talk about the Fantastic Four.
We all knew that the Fantastic Four were coming. Disney owns Fox now, so all of the properties that they held are back with Marvel and Marvel Studios. But just hearing Kevin Feige confirm that it was in development on the famed Hall H stage was the stuff of legend for me. You might say it was fantastic news. I'm just kidding, it was a punny joke. I love the Fantastic Four, and I just can't wait to see what Marvel does with the characters. So for me, that was easily the news that got me the most excited. So honorable mentions include WandaVision and Shang-Chi, which I'm actually very excited for both of these, but they just weren't the top of my list. But I think everything was very cool that was presented at the Marvel Studios panel, and I just really think they knocked it out of the park, or won Comic-Con as they say. So what do you all think? What news got you the most excited? How different is your list from my list? Do you plan to get Disney Plus? Of the news that wasn't announced, was there anything that you really wanted to hear at this year's Comic-Con? Let me know in the comments section of the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share it if you loved it, and subscribe for more comic book content. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.